Welcome to this particular episode of I Can See Clearly Now. My name is T.R. Carr. I'm the host for this series of issues facing local government in Michigan and in other areas of the country. Today, we're going to be interviewing Angie Smith. She is a candidate for City Council for the city of Farmington Hills. We want you to hear the issues from her in her own words. We're doing that for every other candidate for City Council and for Mayor for the city of Farmington Hills. We would ask you to consider subscribing to this podcast so that you can be aware of other interviews that we conduct and other issues that we cover in the coming weeks and months. Again, welcome, and we'll introduce Angie Smith in just a moment. Angie, let me begin by asking, should I refer to you as Angie or would you prefer me as Mrs. Smith? How should I address you during this interview?
Well, first, I want to thank you for having me. And Mrs. Smith was the mother-in-law, so just call me Angie, TR. And thank you for having me here today.
Okay, great. I'm looking forward to this. You know, one of the things that we want to do is just have a dialogue asking some certain questions so people gain a better understanding about you and about your policy preferences. I'm all about public policy. So one thing I might ask you is that the position of city council member is a very, very part-time position. And what is your motivation for running for city council at Farmington Hills?
Well, I had no interest in running for this position. I have been on Farmington Public Schools for 10 years, 10 years in November. The plan was to run for this seat because I was asked to run. And as a school board member, I've been on policy for 10 years. Under our former leadership, and I'll say superintendent, we had some problems with not having a relationship with our cities, both councils, and our police department. And my goal is to bridge the gap. Right now, Farmington has a phenomenal superintendent. And under the new leadership and board president, there is a relationship with both cities, the police department, and our city council. So my goal is to continue to have that relationship with both, well, all of the entities.
Okay, thank you. One thing that, my background is that of an academic. I'm a former elected official, and people sometimes don't understand about political campaigns. So one thing they want to focus their attention on briefly is your budget for your campaign. It's all available. People can go to Oakland County and look it up, but I prefer just to ask people, how much is your budget? And I'm not down to the dollar, but just in round numbers, how much do you expect to spend on your campaign for city council?
Well, for city council, one, I never expected this to be such a huge race due to the fact that running for school board, you cover Farmington, Farmington Hills, a part of West Bloomfield, and Northfield. So my budget wasn't that high, but this time I plan to spend no more than maybe $8,000, probably around 10. I'm just guesstimating. Sure. Because what you have to pay for is people don't understand. You have to pay for ads. You have to pay for, when you go and have your fundraisers, you've got to pay those entities and businesses, and you've got to pay for door knockers if you want to get out there and get your name out there.
Okay, one thing that the public likes to know is, where does your money come from? I know we can go to Oakland County and we can look it up when the next campaign report is due. I think it's
October 24th.
So just for our purposes, where's your money coming from? Is it coming primarily from individuals within Farmington Hills? Is it coming from outside? Just give me some percentage of the 8 or 10,000.
Well, all of my contributions have come from the inside. Majority of them have come from local residents. I did receive some, a pack, but majority of my funds, all of my funds are from members of the community.
Okay, so your funding really does come primarily from residents or organizations within the city of Farmington Hills.
Majority, but it's from the Tri-County area of Michigan. It's nothing out of state. Everything is local. Majority of it is truly from Farmington Hills.
Okay, that's good to know. One question I have is deals with some activities taken by the city of Farmington Hills. The city is contracted with a consulting firm from Atlanta, Georgia, to review special services. Now, special services in Farmington Hills refers to our Park and Recreation Department. And included in special services is senior services. And we have a really large senior service building at the Caustic Center on 11 Mile. I'll preface my comment by saying that building is old and that building needs significant investment and probably it needs to be replaced. Those reports identified potential sources for locations. One was rebuild at the current location. One was make a significant addition to the facilities at the Hawk. And the third was to move something to the Oakland Community College campus off of Farmington Road. It's become clear that the Oakland Community College location probably is not very valid because they're looking at building a hockey arena on that site. So the question I have to ask you is, what is your position on locating the senior services? Would you prefer a building at the current location on 11 Mile, a new building? Would you prefer to see it move to the Hawk on 12 Mile?
So this is very touchy for me. I've been a resident here for 28 years. And during that time, my children, which are now adults, got to use that facility. I was appalled when I went inside and looked at the flooring, the wiring coming out, the bathrooms.
You're referring to the Caustic Center.
Caustic Center. The Hawk was sold from Farmington Public Schools to the city of Farmington Hills, to be a recreational center. But under my impression, I was under the understanding that the Caustic Center would continue to run and be well maintained. There was a bond a few years ago that went out to redo the pool, but that bond did not fix the pool. The building's, how can I say this? The building's maintenance is horrific. I've seen other buildings throughout other Tri-County areas that looked amazing. Me personally, I've done a commercial standing on my grounds of I want that building to be redone, rebuilt for the seniors. That building, I can't see our seniors taking part over at the Hawk. That Hawk is not equipped for seniors. There is no way that we could put a pool on the third floor, which, by the way, the Hawk still looks like Harrison High School. It looks like the last day of school. As far as having our seniors go through the building when our young people are there, we can't have that. We've had people, the seniors at the Caustic Center, their relationships are important. Most of them can't go from building to building and go from the Hawk to the OCC. They have a constant, consistent relationship. And I think that building needs to be rebuilt and revamped for them. I would love to see an outdoor facility for them. I would love to see for our people to, well, I don't like using the word seniors because I'm at that age now. So I want to say seasoned. I want them to be able to have those relationships and continue those relationships with each other. I'd love to see an outdoor facility built for them, an outdoor playground. People don't understand. It helps them physically and mentally. Sometimes that's the only place they have. So that's my outlook on the Caustic Center.
Well, we'll probably come back to some more preferences in a moment or two. One thing we would say is that the powers of a member of the city council is really very limited. You'll be occupying one of 7 seats, and to get anything approved by city council, it requires 4 votes. And that includes the mayor. The mayor does not have veto power. The mayor is just a member of the city council, but the mayor does in fact preside over council meetings. So as we look at this, how would you work to secure the support of other members of the council to achieve some of your objectives? Because it requires at least 4 votes, and ideally you'd want to have, a strong majority of votes for any policy.
Well, TR, I must say, I watched Sesame Street and I've learned to count to 4. As an elected official myself, I know that you need 4 votes, but you would prefer to have all the votes in your favor. And what that means is having a collaborative working relationship with your colleagues. Now, I know people are going to say, well, she's saying that, but what about her relationship with the members on her current board? It is hard to get people to understand, but if you walk outside and you have those relationships with the community, you will know what the people are saying. I am the one that walks around and I hear. So sometimes you have to have those conversations. They may be brutal, but then sometimes you won't get those 4 votes. As of now, I have a great working relationship with my colleagues on school board. But when you work on that city council, you have to have the mayor and the city council all on the same page. And it's okay to agree to disagree, but make sure you have that relationship where you can work with each other.
As I'm looking at some of your campaign literature, I've downloaded it and looked at it. You said you want Farmington Hills to have I believe your words are a brighter future, which is laudable. And you talk about having a focus on community growth. So I would ask you, what would be your goal? What would be your vision for the future of Farmington Hills and seeing it growing into an even more vibrant city than it currently is?
Well, when I moved out here 28 years ago, we had fine dining. We were not eating and stopping in and picking up a hot and ready. We were not picking up some food from a restaurant. I'm not saying you have to have a black tie, but when I moved here, there was the Family Buggy, which is now Petco, and an auto shop. We had Camellias. And right now, what I would like to see is our young people move back to this community. I'm the mother of 3 grown women. And I have one that moved back home, but she finds nothing here for her to do. We've got restaurants that are abandoned. So I and several of my friends and my family, when they are here, we can't go anywhere to dine. We have to go to Novi, we have to go to West Bloomfield and other neighboring communities, even downtown Farmington. So there's nothing for us here. I'd love to see our young people be able to move back and move back to this community. And when I say a brighter future, I love our schools, I love our community, but we have to make something feasible for everyone, not just our seniors, but our younger people that are moving back here. Most of our young people move back downtown Detroit or in other areas. So that's what we need to do, is rebuild and refocus and bring things back to our community.
I guess, looking at that, I know your literature says you want Farmington Hills to be a destination, not a drive-through. I believe that's the words that you used. So as you look at that and you say we can do this by bridging the gap, what kind of partnerships do you think would be necessary for our city to be able to do that, to become a destination and not just a drive-through city?
So right now, I hear of people driving through, they come and they go to the gas stations and they head straight to the mall. I'd love to see people move here for our schools. I love them to move here for our restaurants and for our fine dining, other than just saying, well, I stopped through to go to the gas station and I went straight to 12 Oaks Mall, or I went to somewhere else to do some dining or whatever. When your schools fail, your community fails. Right now, we have a phenomenal superintendent that is working to build things up and work on our achievement gap and work on the things that are happening in our schools. Now, it wasn't built overnight. It takes time. And so now under her leadership, we are working and helping to figure out why things are happening. So as a board member transitioning over to city council, it would be my due diligence to work with our city council to continue to have that working relationship with our schools, with our police department, with our fire department, with our local library, and with all ethnicities in this community.
You raised a couple of issues there. You talked about public safety. You're looking at police and fire. How would you assess, as a long-term resident of Farmington Hills, how would you assess the performance of our public safety department, police and fire?
Well, I've worked with Chief Nebus, Chief King, and now Chief Piggott. We have had one of the best outcomes with them working with our community. Now, is everything perfect? Absolutely not. But we have had these relationships where they work with our community. And I also work with Chief Unruh with the fire department. These 3, 4, 5 gentlemen that I've worked with have been actively involved in our schools. Our children know them when they go in as our SROs. They have a community-based group, which you and I sit on, where information is shared daily with the community. They reach out. They have these conversations. They keep the community informed. In my eyesight, is there some things that we need to improve? Absolutely. I just walked the neighborhoods this past Sunday, and I've had conversations with community members discussing the fire department. They need the fire hydrants painted. So I think that maybe we can have our firefighters and our paramedics go out and interact with the community and show them how to paint. And we just had this past Saturday, the police and fire had their open house, and it was a huge, major turnout. So those are the things that I like about the transparency of our fire department.
One thing that I'd like to say is, you've talked about your goals for the city. If you are elected to city council, I don't like a laundry list because we can, but what are the 2 or the 3 major efforts that you'd see yourself spending your time? Is it economic development? Is it housing? What is it? Where do you see yourself spending your time if you are elected to Farmington Hills City Council?
Well, I know you called it a laundry list, but laundry is dirty. So I like to use it as a honey-do list. So honey would like, which I don't like making promises, because that's one thing you don't make as when you get elected. I would love to see us help our seniors. I'd love to see us work with that caustic center. I'd love to see more development in our community, which means when we mention development, I mean more restaurants. I'm not saying, I'm not against affordable housing. That's not what I'm saying. I do think that we need something for those that are financially unhealthy, opposed to just keep putting up apartment buildings. But my honey-do list is to have a working collaborative relationship with our city officials, our schools, our police departments, our library, our community. Community first. These people have spent money and time and years here to have those kind of relationships.
Oh, thank you. One thing as we get ready to conclude our time together, give you a couple of minutes to specify why do you think people should vote for you for Farmington Hills City Council? There are a number of people running for office. Why should I cast my ballot for you?
Well, that's a good question. But the answer is why not? I have been an active community member here in Farmington Hills for 28 years. I have served on MCMR, which is multicultural, multiracial. I put on the first Martin Luther King March for the city. I have been PTA president throughout the whole time my children have been involved. I have been PTA state. I have worked under the superintendents, several superintendents, passed several bonds and millages. and as of now, school board member. I have a relationship with both cities, both our city councils, our police department. And a vote for me on November 4th would be a positive vote to continue the work that I have tried to do. And that's just continue to do the work that's being done in a great city. This is Farmington's finest. And we have a great community, and I want to continue to see it grow. That's the reason.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This has been I Can See Clearly Now. T.R. Carr, the host, and we've been privileged to have Angie Smith here being interviewed today talking about her campaign for our city council. Be sure and tune in for other episodes as we do with other members that are seeking election to city council, and we're dealing with other issues facing the city as well. So again, Angie, thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
TR, and I appreciate you. Have a good one.
Okay, you too.